The following program is sponsored by CBN.
Coming up, churches are in the crosshairs and congregations are ramping up security.
What we want to do is create an environment where worry-free worship can occur.
See what's being done to keep you safe.
You have a responsibility that is even more intense than ever before.
Plus, a scouting report on the LA Rams record-setting receiver, Brandin Cooks.
I can't give you too much because, just in case our viewers or my defenders.
And why do they call him the Archer?
Also wanted to glorify God in a different way.
On today's 700 Club.
Well, welcome to the 700 Club. Did the shooter act alone? That's the crucial question concerning the Saudi Air Force lieutenant who opened fire at Pensacola Naval Air Station. 3 U.S. service members were tragically killed. What did the shooter tweet shortly before he opened fire? And what will the cell phone footage of the murders reveal? Dale Hurd has the chilling details.
The Saudi Air Force lieutenant is believed to have tweeted about his hatred of Americans a short time before the shooting. The tweets were deleted, but have been recovered. Mohammed al-Shamrami tweeted, "I hate you because every day you are supporting, funding, and committing crimes not only against Muslims, but also humanity." The dead victims have been identified as 23-year-old ensign Joshua Caleb Watson, 19-year-old airman Mohammed Sameh Haytham, and 21-year-old airman apprentice Cameron Scott Walters. Al-Shamrami used a Glock 9mm purchased legally in Florida under a federal loophole that allows representatives of so-called friendly nations to buy guns. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said he supports the Second Amendment, but that it does not apply to Saudis.
You have foreign military personnel coming to our base. They should not be doing that if they hate our country.
In the days before the shooting, al-Shamrami reportedly showed videos of mass shootings at his home. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper says he's ordered a review of the Foreign Nationals Exchange Program and base security.
Yesterday, I directed that we look at our security precautions across the services and all of our installations and bases and facilities to make sure that we're got the appropriate degree of security to protect our service members and their families.
Meanwhile, 10 other Saudi nationals are restricted to an area on base, and the FBI is trying to determine if others were involved. One of those students was detained at the scene of the attack after apparently taking videos on a phone.
Our main goal right now is to confirm whether he acted alone or was he a part of a larger network.
President Trump said the Saudis will cooperate and compensate the victims' families.
I spoke with the King of Saudi Arabia. They are devastated in Saudi Arabia. We're finding out what took place, whether it's one person or a number of people.
Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz said the Saudis better cooperate.
We expect Saudi intelligence to work with our government to find the people accountable and hold them responsible, and I was given every assurance from the ambassador that that would occur.
Investigators also believe the gunman visited New York City days before the shooting and are working to determine the purpose of that trip. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Tragedy, ladies and gentlemen, a tragedy. You know, this extremism, it's just terrible. Well, look, we mentioned on our last program that Nancy Pelosi was stuck between two conflicting opinions. One, is she going to protect the members of her caucus in the upcoming elections, or is she going to give way to the radicals who want impeachment anytime? Well, the radicals have won out, and all they want for Christmas is a House vote on impeachment, and the Democrats are pushing hard to get it. Ephraim Graham has more from the CBN News Desk on this never-ending saga.
Pat, House Judiciary Chairman Jerry Nadler says his committee could vote on articles of impeachment this week. Attorneys with the House Intelligence and Judiciary Committees putting together their case over the weekend. Nadler calls it a slam dunk, but Republican leaders disagree.
I think the case we have, if presented to a jury, would be a guilty verdict in about 3 minutes flat.
I don't see a single Republican defecting. They've looked at the facts. They know where we are on this.
If the committee approves the articles by Friday, that would set up a full House vote before Christmas and a Senate trial in January. The White House says the process has been unfair and rushed, and it plans to mount a full defense in the Senate. Pat?
You know, Nadler said the reason he was qualified was because he had decided that there should be impeachment in advance. I mean, how fair can it be? You know, bring the guilty man in, give him a fair trial, then hang him. I mean, they already decided in advance. That's what he said his qualifications were for being chairman. And this, President Clinton has said, others have said, that there has to be a bipartisan agreement on an impeachment. And there isn't one single Republican, apparently, who's voting for this thing right now. It is all strictly Democrat politics. And it just doesn't have legitimacy. Ephraim?
Pat, a long-awaited report from the Justice Department's Inspector General on the origins of the Mueller probe is set for release today. Those familiar with Michael Horowitz's report say it does cite multiple errors and potential transgressions in the FBI's investigation. However, the report concludes the DOJ had sufficient evidence to launch the Mueller investigation. Attorney General William Barr reportedly disagrees with that finding. He's overseeing a separate investigation by U.S. Attorney John Durham. That investigation is looking for criminal misdeeds in the investigation. Deep cold is set to hit the Midwest, the coldest air of the season. The Arctic air sweeps down Tuesday, bringing below freezing and single-digit temperatures. Minnesota expecting minus 30-degree wind chill. By Wednesday, the bitter cold is expected to stretch into the Northeast. This comes as a weather system that pounded California is set to move east. High winds brought down trees, heavy rain flooded streets and underground areas in parts of San Francisco. As the system moves east, it is expected to turn into snow. In New Zealand, a volcanic island erupted today. In a tower of ash and steam, the eruption on White Island came while dozens of tourists were exploring the surface, which is like the moon. At least 5 people are dead, about 18 are injured, and many more missing. The man who shot the video of the explosion tweeted he and his family had gotten off the island literally just 20 minutes earlier. Pat, back to you.
You know, as I was reading in the Bible, it talks about the time that the sun and the moon will be dark and the moon and stars won't give their light. Well, what would do that? The planets aren't going to change. But what would happen is volcanic eruption. I think that if we were hit by a small asteroid, it would begin to bring volcanoes into play. But we have in Yellowstone Park the biggest potential volcano in the world. That is a huge caldera, and if that volcanic area in, you know, where they have Old Faithful and all those geysers and so forth, if that caldera in Yellowstone erupts, it will black out the sky for the entire world for a matter of a couple of years. It is very, very serious. And when these volcanoes begin to go, you're looking at a fulfillment of biblical prophecy, but also a terrible way for human beings to live. Ephraim?
Pat, finally this morning, a giant has passed from the scene. Evangelist Reinhard BONNKE was known as the Billy Graham of Africa. Saturday, at the age of 79, he joined the Savior he spent a lifetime telling people about. For 6 decades, the German-born preacher crisscrossed the African continent preaching the love of Jesus Christ. George Thomas has this look at his life and his legacy.
All hail the power of Jesus' name! Affectionately known as God's General, Reinhard BONNKE spent a remarkable 60 of his 79 years spreading the good news that was to plunder hell to populate heaven.
Jesus didn't call us to deliver sermons, he called us to deliver people. And I believe this is what happens in our crusades. I am not decorating prison cells. I'm setting the captives free.
That was Reinhard Bonnke on the 700 Club 33 years ago today. He had just returned from holding one of his massive crusades in Malawi, East Africa. The renowned German-born evangelist gave his life to Christ at age 9. During my interview with him in 2010, Bonnke said he heard the call from the Lord to the African mission field early on in life.
Why Africa?
Because it's my calling. It's very specific and personal. God spoke to me as a kid that I would preach the gospel in Africa.
Bonnke was 24 years old when he moved his wife Annie and their baby son to the tiny African nation of Lesotho. The couple spent 7 years working there as missionaries. He said it wasn't easy, but it was during those difficult years that he started praying to see more souls saved across the African continent. Dr. Corne Becker, Dean of the School of Divinity at Regent University and a native of South Africa, attended several of Bonnke's crusade meetings.
And he said very early on he heard this voice that said, Africa shall be saved. And to the end of his life, he never stopped believing that this was indeed the voice of God.
God gave Bonnke a vision of a continent washed in the blood of Jesus Christ. He started holding gospel meetings in a yellow tent that could hold just 800 people, but soon outgrew it and needed a bigger one.
There would be a wonderful time of worship. He would preach the gospel, the very simple gospel of Jesus Christ, and then he would give an invitation for people to come forward. And people in their thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of people would come forward and dedicate their lives unto the Lord.
In 1974, Bonnke founded Christ for All Nations with the goal of reaching Africa with the gospel. He ditched the tent and started crisscrossing the continent, holding open-air crusades. At one such rally in Lagos, Nigeria, held in 2000, more than 6 million people came out to hear him preach. During his last appearance on the 700 Club in 2018, Bonnke recalled to Pat how the Lord had touched so many people's lives over the 5-day event.
But the last day, it was in one service, over 1 million people got saved and completed the decision card. So, you know, that gave me faith for the rest of the world.
Sure.
If Jesus can save 1 million in a meeting, it will take less than 1 year to get America saved.
Amen.
Bonnke has always insisted that such remarkable numbers were only possible through the power and anointing of the Holy Spirit.
We need the Great Commission, and we have the Holy Spirit. If we have only the Great Commission or only the Holy Spirit, we have power without purpose or purpose without power. It is a package deal.
Dr. Becker says his crusades were often accompanied by miraculous healings.
Many of these miracles would be spontaneous. People that were not able to walk could walk, people that were blind could see, and the deaf could hear.
All told, Christ for All Nations says from the start of Bonnke's ministry back in 1967 to this day, more than 79 million people have made decisions to follow Christ in Africa and other parts of the world. Tributes have been pouring in since his passing, including from Nigeria's Muslim President Muhammadu Buhari, who called Bonnke's death a great loss to Nigeria, Africa, and entire world. Evangelist Reinhard Bonnke was 79 years old. He passed away Saturday in Orlando, surrounded by his family. He leaves behind his wife Annie, 3 children, and 8 grandchildren. George Thomas, CBN News.
Extend our prayers for his family, a mighty man of faith. Pat?
Can't tell you how sad I am at the passing of my dear friend, because he was a dear, dear friend. He was about 10 years younger than I am, and he had seen, as we said there, 79 million recorded decisions for Christ. There's not a human being even touched his ministry anywhere in the world, in any era. There's never been anybody like him that has had that kind of an impact. And if there's a premier person in our generation or in the life of this nation and this world, Reinhard Bonnke is the man. And so my heart goes out to his family, and I am saddened at his passing. But we were dear friends, and over the years we've been able to help a little bit, but not near enough. But we were close friends, And I mourn his passing. But a great man of God. Just think of it, 79 million people. Now they weren't estimates. They were people who actually filled out cards. And nobody has ever touched that kind of a ministry. Nobody.
Well, when you see those photos, I mean, it's a sea of people too vast to even begin to understand.
When he preached, the people came to the Lord. The power of God came down and swept throughout those huge crowds. What a great man of God. Well, anyhow, we mourn his passing. So the angels of heaven rejoice because a great man of God has come home to be with the Lord. Terry?
Well, up next, a deadly trend, blowing up local churches in the name of ISIS. Is your church safe? And if not, what's the best way to beef up security? Plus, he takes aim and fires. Brandin Cooks is one of the LA Rams' hottest weapons. How did he get the nickname the Archer? And why has it become his calling card?
Well, the time come when we're afraid to go to church and we worship on the television. Well, mass shootings and bomb plots, not only at malls and movie theaters, but now in America's churches. How will this change the way we worship? And what can churches do to protect their congregations? Our Chuck Colson turned to security experts for the answers.
June 19th, 2019, a Syrian refugee was arrested in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for plotting to blow up a local church. His intent was to inspire other church attacks in the name of ISIS. Former FBI agent Mark Lundgren warns that an attack like this could have far-reaching consequences.
If 2 or 3 successful attacks on churches occur, what we're going to see is a conversation over the dinner table on Saturday night. Honey, should we take the kids to church tomorrow, or should we just live stream this? And if you don't think that's going to impact the very ministry model of every church in America, you probably just haven't thought about it.
Many churches these days have some sort of security team, but Lundgren is working to help these teams network with those from other churches by starting the Secure Church Network, an association of church safety and security leaders who meet to share tips and tactics for keeping their congregations safe.
So what we want to do is create an environment where worry-free worship can occur.
At a recent Secure Church event near Chicago, several hundred attendees got a chance to do scenario-based training aimed at approaching security as a ministry. Former Secret Service agent Tim Miller led the training.
So church security is unique because the skills we need week after week are largely not firearm skills. They're skills like talking people down. We call it de-escalation. They're skills like dealing with mentally ill people. They're skills like understanding that people come into the church with a variety of addictions. And how we respond to them really matters because on the one hand, we want hurting people to come, but on the other hand, we want to keep the congregation safe.
You know, you're more likely to be struck by lightning than you are to be a victim of a mass shooter attack in a church. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be training and prepared for it. More likely, you're going to have a medical emergency or maybe a mentally ill person come into your church, and those kinds of things need to be prepared for as well. And that's why training like this is so important.
Let's pray that he is with us today.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
I think you just have to watch the news today and you can tell that things are changing. There's just an expansion of these radical ideologies, mental health struggles, even anger against people of faith. And because the conditions are changing, I think leaders need to be more thoughtful than ever about how they really shepherd people, how we protect the flock that's under our care, and whether that means imposing new kinds of security protocols to help protect folks against bad actors, or whether it's just thinking through more carefully the practices by which we're going to be ready to give medical aid in a time of emergency. It feels like we have a responsibility that is even more intense than ever before.
What's the problem, ma'am?
The training included some unique tools, such as a high-tech virtual trainer that lets attendees experience dozens of different scenarios in a short period of time. It's the same method used by law enforcement.
Having those conversations ahead of time
doing some drilling. I know that our officers will come through here off hours so that way they can learn the layout much better and even do some training.
We want them ministry-minded but also highly skilled. Now, church security is different because, as you know, churches are welcoming, inviting places, and security tends to keep people away. So it's important that we train church security folks with the mindset of ministry.
I just don't know any church leader that wants their gatherings to start to feel like some kind of an armed encampment. But the good news, it seems to me, is that there are practical ways of increasing security in the life of a religious community or church without losing that sense that it is still a very warm and welcoming place.
Participants say they get a lot out of working together with other churches.
So we're part of Secure Church Chicago, and we attend these on a regular basis. They've been very impactful in helping us develop a plan and a strategy.
This is my second time attending a training here with Secure Church. So it was really informative. Even just making connections and networking with other churches was also a benefit to being here. But just having a facility to be able to do scenario-based training was the real advantage for us.
In Chicago, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
Well, I'm pleased to report here at CBN we have a trained police force. I mean, they're not just amateurs. They are trained police officers certified by the city of Virginia Beach. They go through all kinds of training, and I think it's important because you just never know.
Well, people are unpredictable these days. And
well, we've had people come in here, you know, you never know. So in any event.
Good to be cautious.
Yeah. I'm trained with weapons myself, having been a Marine, but nevertheless, I just assume not have to spend time worrying about who am I going to shoot, who's trying to shoot me. I don't want that to happen. Terry?
Well, still ahead, your mess matters. So says millennial pastor Luke Lizon. Luke joins us live to talk about the disease that almost took him out and the cure he never saw coming. But first, the Rams' record-setting receiver, Brandin Cooks. You'll never guess where he got his signature end zone celebration move, but you're about to find out right after this. I don't know about you, but I'm always looking for an opportunity to move beyond the gift giving and the presents and the baking and cooking and everything else that's a part of Christmas, to be able to do something meaningful in the lives of people who are in need. Here's a great way for you to do that. Watch for this mailing coming to you. If you're a CBN partner, you're going to receive it. It's always very pretty, but inside also, in addition to an opportunity for you to give, are these prayer ornaments. There's a keepsake ornament for you, and then one where we're saying, send us your prayer request. We hang it on our Christmas tree here, and we all pray for you on a regular basis throughout the holiday. So join the 700 Club because you have an opportunity to help other people in a way that matters, in a very broad way as well. We're ministering in so many ways here at home and around the world, and we'd love for you to be a part of that. Number's toll free. It's 1-800-700-7000. So call and join right now. Pat?
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if any of you watch pro football, but you know, the New England Patriots have set a record, and Tom Brady has been one of the greatest quarterbacks in history. Many, many Super Bowls. Now at 42, either he is losing it or his teammates are losing it. He seems not to trust his receivers. And in Foxborough, the Patriots went down Sunday in defeat, and Brady was just shocked. People actually booed him. He's one of the great quarterbacks. But we've got somebody else that's, you know, the Eagles seem to be winning. One of the Harbaugh brothers, one brother was at Michigan and they got just destroyed by Ohio State, and the other is in Baltimore, and the Ravens seem to be. I mean, you can't believe it. I mean, we watched all the college games, and oh my goodness, it was just
something for everybody, right?
It was too much football. I'm footballed out. All right. Well, straight as an arrow, and just as deadly to his opponents, the LA Rams' record-setting receiver is a force to be reckoned with. Brandin Cooks is called the Archer for his signature end zone celebration style. But how did he come up with it? And what does it mean to him personally? Tom Buring explains.
The Los Angeles Rams' Brandin Cooks blisters NFL secondaries with elite speed, quickness, and productivity. The Oregon State record-setting receiver and All-American also learned to dodge grief after losing his dad to a heart attack as a 6-year-old. Determined, competitive, and focused, Brandin takes aim, putting opponents to flight in the game he plays and the life he lives.
First player in NFL history to do back-to-back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons with 3 different teams. Saints, Patriots, Rams, all winning programs. How has that helped shape you?
You know, helped me just develop that mental toughness. Going from different teams, with the Saints in New England, built me, to come here at the Rams and continue to just do that. But at the same time, I'm also been blessed with great coaches, great quarterbacks. It's not all on my doing, but, the guys that surround me to help me, be successful.
If you had to defend Brandin Cooks, give me a scouting report.
That's a good question. It's really scouting our team, and how Coach McVay sets us up for success and put us in positions to succeed. And having a great coach like that, it'd be pretty tough to scout myself or just other guys in general, just because it's always so different. Well, I can't give you too much because, just in case our viewers or my defenders.
Defenses is always about neutralizing that opponent.
Yeah.
How critical is speed to give you control?
It's very critical, especially in my position and my type of play. Being able to have speed, just to be able to sometimes blow the top off and help my teammates get open. Sometimes those are those type of games that has to be had. So if I can take the top off and draw defenders near me to open up other guys, I think that's very important.
You lost your dad when you were 6. How did you find fathering while growing up?
I had such great friends with dads around me, like my track coach, my football coaches. And I think it was one of those things I always just picked pieces from different families and people that had a huge impact in my life, whether it was coaches or my best friend parents. And so it's just one of those things that it had to be dynamic, but then my mom also played that father role as well.
Brandin, how have you turned adversity around?
I always try to look at the brighter side and find joy, whether it's like, losing my father when I was young. I think it's one of those things, anytime you can try your hardest to find joy in the negative, I think you always come out on a positive, and that's just been my mindset.
And they called you Sonic Boom
I don't know
in
what that
Pop
came
Warner,
from.
but you didn't hang on to it. But you've since been christened the Archer. Your celebration in the end zones at one point was the arrow to the sky.
Yeah.
Why does that resonate with you?
It resonates with me because it's one of my favorite verses in the Bible. It's Psalm 144:6, send forth lightning, scatter the enemy, and shoot your arrows and rout them. So fitting with what I do. I also wanted to glorify God in a different way. A lot of people cross their chest. I just wanted to come up with a unique way to glorify God with the gift that He's given me.
They say that Ishmael lived for the hunt.
Yeah.
So, Brandin, what is in your hunt? What are you hunting for in this journey?
I encourage others around me. One of my favorite prayers before the game is, may people miss me and see Him in me. If at least one soul is saved through the way that I play, that's my goal in life, is just to be the best I can be for others around me. Although we all know no one's perfect, but that's why His grace is so sufficient in my life, and where He's brought me from is where He's taken me, and where He has me now is so special. I just want to give Him that glory.
How have you made your Christ following contagious, enthusiastic, genuine?
I think just being me and really taking advantage of opportunities when they come up and not trying to force them. I think that being in the locker room filled with so many different personalities, the last thing guys want is people to come forcing it to them. And I think if people have questions, great. And also sparking those conversations as well. Being who I am and also letting people know that I'm not perfect and that I have a lot of problems. And I think that's just the best way to go about it.
Most recently, something that He's sustaining you with as encouragement.
That's a great one. I would have to say focus. How Peter, when he was on the boat and he had his eyes fixed on Jesus, he was performing miracles. He walked on water at a point. But when he got distracted from all the outside noise and everything that was going around him and didn't keep his eyes fixed on Jesus, he sank. Consistently on my mind is keeping my eyes fixed on Jesus, no matter what's going on in life.
Well, the L.A. Rams, with that tremendous man playing, trounced the Seahawks Sunday 28-12. And it looks like they might wind up with the Super Bowl with the Ravens. We don't know exactly what the...
Be interesting to see who does wind up there.
New England might come back, but they were close. But anyhow.
Yeah, focused young man.
All right, questions?
Well, still ahead, we do have your questions, and Pat has some honest answers for you. Brian says, if God is an all-loving and all-powerful, why would he create human beings capable of hating and killing? Pat tackles that whopper. That's coming up. But first, he was 24 years old and wasting away. What mysterious illness did he have, and how did he find a cure? Luke Lazan answers those questions when he joins us live.
And welcome back to the 700 Club for this CBN News Break. President Trump is sending a warning to North Korea's Kim Jong-un after a controversial weapons test. Tweeting, Kim Jong-un has everything to lose if he acts in a hostile way. A South Korean expert believes the regime tested an engine for an intercontinental ballistic missile recently. This comes after Kim apparently gave President Trump an ultimatum, warning the U.S. to end all hostility. Earlier, the regime said it is up to the U.S. what kind of Christmas gift it will get from North Korea. A life-changing CBN program is celebrating its 20th birthday this month. Vida Dora is an original CBN program in Spanish for Latin American audiences. The show brings hope to those who have hit rock bottom by sharing dramatic stories of people who found victory over tragedy through their faith in Jesus Christ. It's seen both daily and weekly in more than 15 countries, and its weekly Facebook Live program, Vida Dora en Vivo, expands the program's ministry by connecting directly with viewers. Now, you can learn more about what CBN is doing around the world by going to cbn.com/international. Pat and Terry are back with more of today's 700 Club coming up right after this.
A self-confessed mess. That was Luke Lazan after dealing with a mysterious illness that left him depressed and emaciated. But out of his mess, God made a miracle. Take a look.
Waiting on God and that you're waiting for him to...
At age 24, Pastor Luke Lazan had a mental and emotional breakdown after suffering for months with a mysterious illness.
I just felt like, God, you're gliding along with not a care in the world, and I'm over here breaking.
Quickly losing weight from nausea and dysentery, Luke became bedridden. His frustration escalated to blackouts, fear, and rage.
I'm angry with God. I'm saying, God, where is the glory in this?
In his book, Your Mess Matters, Luke explains how God changed his perspective on pain and suffering.
Please welcome to the 700 Club, Luke Lazan. Luke, it's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me on. Yeah.
I want to mention your book, first of all, because everything we're talking about, I've read about in your story here, Your Mess Matters. When did you first begin to realize that maybe you had a problem? It wasn't just yesterday's pizza or something.
Right. I had actually been preaching at an event, and my wife was there with me, and she, sees me every day, but someone had taken a photo with me after the event, and she said, something does not look right. You're looking a little thin. And she had me step on a scale, and sure enough, I was like 18 pounds down from what I normally.
18 pounds?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
At 24, you were really virtually still a newlywed in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you start having all of these health issues, and what did doctors tell you?
They couldn't figure it out. All they knew is that my white blood cell count was high and that I was losing weight, and anyone in any kind of medical profession would realize that's a bad combination. So they couldn't rule out cancer, couldn't rule out anything like that. They were doing tons of different procedures on me, just exploratory, trying to figure out what was wrong, and they didn't know. And so, yeah.
So you're in ministry. I mean, here you are, you're out there, doing what God has called you to do. You're young. I'm sure you felt vibrant and healthy before all of this began to happen. It must have been very confusing to you spiritually.
Yeah, I had a ton of questions. And at that point, you know, it was very weird to be a pastor and feel like I help people get through these things. I'm actually having to go through these things very early in my life as well. And so we had a lot of moments a lot of Jacob moments where I felt like I was wrestling with God and he was going to have to touch my hip a few times. That.
Your wife was the champ through this because you were both young and you hadn't been married very long. How did she deal with it?
She was the most stable person. You know, I've heard that I can be stubborn and a little up and down, which I'm sure there's not tons of truth to that. But she was so consistently praying and for me, even when I was very down. She was a rock for us. She was an anchor, and it was incredible.
Well, after months, all of this really took its toll. How bad did it get?
I ended up losing almost 50 pounds at one point, and yeah, I started to just look like a skeleton in a lot of different ways. And so we got to a point where my dad had to carry me into the hospital at one point. My electrolytes were so low that they were wondering if I was going to have a heart attack. It was truly a mess of a situation.
Wow. You know, in the middle of this, I'm sure when doctors who are the learned, educated ones who are supposed to have answers to this couldn't find answers, you really not only got frustrated, but you got angry, and angry with God. And that's so normal, but it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Tell me about what you went through.
It was extremely uncomfortable, and I had to get to a point where I was like, you know what? In Scripture, it says that God's not the God of confusion, but He's the God of peace. And so I started to realize, you know what? The antidote to my confusion isn't clarity on where God's taking me. It's the peace of knowing that God is with me. And so I had to really get to a point where I trusted God in the middle of whatever it is that I was going through. And I just felt like God was speaking to me in that moment. I'm going to use this moment of your confusion. I'm going to be the peace for you in the middle of this so that you can talk about the peace that I bring others for the rest of your life through your ministry. And that's what I believe He's going to do.
Did you think you might die, or did you think it was just chronic and would eventually go away?
We did think that there was something potentially seriously wrong. When they couldn't rule out cancer, we had many moments where we were all very concerned. On the surface, my parents, my wife, my support network, they were all acting very strong for me. But as things started to get better and they started to rule different things out like cancer, they had moments where they were breaking down too. And I realized, wow, we've all been very terrified in the midst of this. But God's been good the whole way through.
And your brother said something to you in the process of all of this that I think was really a simple but powerful statement. Talk about that.
Yeah, he just approached me in the middle of a mental breakdown of mine, and he said, "Hey, like God's not abandoning you in the middle of this mess at all." And I had no idea how profound that statement would be at the time, and that God would turn it into what it's become. But it really takes, sometimes you need clarity from other people, you know, to...
Well, and he said there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. You know, sometimes just accepting that nugget for the moment brings you to a reliance on God that maybe was a struggle before that.
Yeah.
So what did you finally get diagnosed with?
So I ended up having a parasite, and that's why the white blood cell count was high. That's why they struggled to figure everything out there. But
and then that turned into something else because it disappeared, but your body was already so diminished.
Yes, then I had multiple infections in my body after that through, thank God, multiple procedures and different things, infectious disease doctors were able to heal me. And honestly, it was more of a mental hurdle after that than anything else to be able to get back to a standpoint where I felt clear again in our vision for our church, my marriage, and just what God wanted to do with the rest of our lives in ministry.
So the title, Your Mess Matters, what do you want the takeaway to be for people?
I just want people, if I could summarize the book in one sentence, I'd say, you know what? God doesn't work around the messes in your life. He works in the messes in your life. And I would just challenge people, really allow God to do work in that soil, because messes are miracle-making fertilizer if you'll allow Him to work in it.
Mm-hmm. And I no doubt your eating habits and your exercise habits now become not just something you have to do, but something you want to do.
Yeah, I started to take my health a lot more seriously at that point. And, you know, it's also something where my wife's on me a little bit to make sure that I'm doing those things because she doesn't want to have to be that rock constantly. And so it's definitely changed our lives for the better.
Well, we all have messes in our lives, and the message is such a good one. Your mess matters because God's going to use it. He's going to use it in a powerful way. Luke's book is available wherever books are sold. Luke, thank you so much for being with us. It's a great message. Everybody has things they have to deal with, and God, if we give them to him, uses them for our good.
Thank you so much, Terry.
Great to have you here. Well, still ahead, a YouTube favorite, your questions and some honest answers. Joanna says, why are there churches that follow Jesus, but they do not celebrate Christmas? Stay tuned for Pat's answer after this. While her mom went searching for work, 6-year-old Gaddy went searching for food. She and her siblings were starving, and sometimes all she could find was food from the garbage.
Ever since she was 6 years old, Gaddy has taken care of her little brother and sister while their mom searched for work.
I was ashamed because I put my children at risk.
In addition to the danger of staying at home alone, Gaddy says they've also struggled to have enough to eat.
My father left us. We have gone hungry many times. The younger kids begged me for food. Sometimes I would find a plastic bag in the neighbor's garbage. I brought it home and we ate.
That's when Jacqueline heard about a program near her home in Peru, sponsored by CBN's Orphans Promise. Now, for the first time since their father left, the children have plenty to eat.
Before, I couldn't give them a simple breakfast. Here, they receive breakfast and lunch.
And now that Jacqueline has found a steady job, the Orphans Promise Center provides free childcare, so the kids have a safe place to play, learn, and watch episodes of CBN's Superbook.
I raised my hand to receive Jesus. I prayed and asked him to change my life. I bless you with all my heart.
I visited this place where Gaddy and all these other children are growing and learning, and there is transformation that has taken place, not just in their individual lives, but in that community. And we want to say thank you, 700 Club members, because you make that possible. So today we want to ask you in the holiday season if you'll continue to stand with us by joining the 700 Club if you haven't done that already, or increasing your club membership. We have all kinds of levels you can join at, and it's as simple as a phone call away. The call is toll free. It's 1-800-700-7000. Just call and tell us what level you'd like to join at. When you do, we want to say thank you by sending you the transforming word. This is Pat's reading of Proverbs, verses of wisdom, favor, and anointing. This is Mary, who lives in Florida. She said, love the transforming word, volume 3 CD. Hearing Pat read the living and inspired word of God has brought healing to my body, calmed my mind, and revived my spirit. Thank you. You're a blessing to me and so many. Keep doing and bringing God's best to a world that desperately needs the truth of Jesus' love. Will help us bring the world God's love. Won't you call now? Time for some email questions.
Forward.
This is Brian, Pat, who says, in the church, I was taught that God is all-knowing, all-loving, and all-powerful. You still preach that daily on your television program. If that is true, and if God created humanity, then why would he create beings capable of so much hate and killing among themselves? Please do not blame the fallen angel Lucifer. As you teach God is all-powerful, God could crush Satan in a New York minute.
Look, if you have children, do you want the children to love you on their own or because they're scared to death of you? I mean, would you want the little kid to come running and throw his arms around you and say, Daddy, I'm so glad you're home? Or would you rather have him slink out and think, well, I'd better kiss the old man, well, he'll smack me? You know, God gave us with a free will, and we are made in God's image. And we are free moral beings. That's why we're like angels, you know. God has made us this way. And he also made angels. Does he understand that they would fall? Yes. And the day is coming that he is going to crush the angels. They will be bound put in a bottomless pit. And what he did, though, in the process was to put you and me as human beings on earth to see if we would turn from God in the midst of all this problem. But he has given us the ability. Unfortunately, that same ability can build beautiful cathedrals, can write glorious hymns, can do the Messiah, or have oratorios, or have paintings that are spectacular, or we can set up Joseph Stalin concentration camps. That's because of the ability he's given us. And one day he's going to deal. Yes, he can put down Satan in a New York second. You're exactly right, he can do that. And one day he's going to do it. But in the meantime, you and I are Exhibit A to see whether we will come to God despite all these problems. And that's what we're going to do, all right?
This is Joanna Pat, who says, why are there churches that follow Jesus, but they don't celebrate Christmas? They say that it's a pagan holiday. Are they right?
I hate to tell you, don't let me upset you, but the truth is, the Yule time, this is...
The Yule log?
Well, the Yule, but I'm thinking about the winter solstice, all this stuff that we have in Christmas, most of it, the trees and the ornaments and all that stuff, mostly are pagan. You know, I told people the best Christmas I ever had in my life, I was outside the shepherd's field looking down the little town of Bethlehem, and on Christmas Day we baptized, I think, 59 people in the Jordan River. That was wonderful, but I hate to say that, but you know, a lot of it's pagan. You know, you name it, the trees, the mistletoe, the reindeer, Father Christmas.
Isn't the intent of the heart also a part of that?
Well,
I mean, the root of it is pagan.
I mean, we do it to celebrate Christmas, but this orgy of shopping you have on this time of year, I mean, you talk about paganism, it's awful. Okay, what do you got?
Okay, this is Karen, who says in Matthew 7:6 in the New International Version, Jesus says, do not give dogs what is sacred, do not throw your pearls to pigs. He says this right after he talks about judging others. What does this mean?
Well, it means that if you take what is sacred, the very deep things of God, and you lay it out before unbelievers, like pigs, they don't understand the value of pearls. They're looking for acorns, not a pearl, and they'll turn and try to gore you. They'll rend you. And people will make fun of what you say if you lay out the truths of God. So all God is saying is exercise discernment. Don't put out what is holy in front of those who mock the holy things and use it against you. That's all.
Okay, this is Maggie, who says, Pat, we celebrate Jesus and the true meaning of Christmas, but we watch Santa movies. Is that wrong?
Well, look, my son, when he was a little boy, wanted to believe in Santa Claus. Okay, I said, all right, that's cool. But I want you to know that, he knows whether you've been good or bad. He knows what you can be good for goodness sake.
Yes.
He knows when you've been sleeping. He knows when you've been waiting. He's an all-knowing. I said, look, Jesus is the one who knows everything. He is God. But I want to believe in Santa Claus and the reindeer. Yeah. Oh, you see those guys in those red suits on the corners? They're a bunch of rummies dressed up in red suits with bells.
Did you really say that?
I told Gordon, I said, they are. I mean, they got a bunch of alcoholics, dress them up in red suits, and this is Santa Claus. I mean, you've got to tell children the difference between what's spiritual and what isn't. That's all. Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm a cruel father. Okay.
Yep. I think we better end on that note.
Today's Power Minute comes from the book of James. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and comes down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow of turning. Oh, I apologize that I have dispelled all of your deep-seated happiness. So for everybody, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, we're getting you a Bah Humbug shirt.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
That was